What's up YouTube, WK Dad Team DKF. Here with a tutorial for Quickdraw Synchron, or as I like to call it, Yusei Hime. I want to go over some important rulings, tips, important features of the excuse me, Yusei Synchros. So we'll start with the most important synchro of the deck, Drill Warrior. See if we can get that up to the camera. I don't know how good my HD camera is. But if you don't know what his effect is, to synchro for him, you need drill synchron. But in our case, we use Quickdraw synchron and one or more non-tuner monsters. Once per turn during your main phase, you can have this card's attack permanently. If you do, it can attack your opponent directly this turn. Once per turn during your main phase, you can discard one card and remove this card from play. During your next standby phase, special summon this card if removed by this effect. Then add one monster from your graveyard to your hand. So, important things to note about this wonderful, wonderful card. When this card is removed from play, and you go to activate the effect and it's special summon, due to the way the mechanics are in this game, your opponent cannot torrential tribute or bottomless trap hole. The reason being is, unlike a monarch, when KS hits the field successfully, he removes a card from play. So it's as though those effects happen right after he's summoned and gets removed from play. So if he's successfully summoned, that happens. So that's a condition of his successful summon, something gets removed. Drill Warrior, on the other hand, when he's successfully special summoned, barring getting buried or whatever, okay, that's cool. Then you add a card from your graveyard to your hand. So we're going to add, for no reason, Big Booty Bitch to our hand. That's the reason you cannot torrential tribute or bottomless, because you miss the timing. Drill Warrior comes back. You can't activate bottomless because I have another effect that kicks in immediately, which is adding a card to my hand. They don't happen simultaneously. It's not like he comes back and as he's coming back, I get a card. He comes back. Then add one monster card to my hand. So the fact that in the wording of the card, the fact that there's a period and it says then, means that these are effects that are not happening at the same time. It's one effect resolves him special summoning, then another effect activates and tries to resolve. And the only time you activate Bottomless Trap Hole is to a summon, but you miss the timing because you can't interrupt the chain. So this is one chain link, and adding a card is another chain link. You miss the timing again for Bottomless and Torrential because I haven't resolved the second effect yet. Some people say, well, I'll just get Torrential after you get the card. No, you can't, because now he's already been summoned successfully. Now I'm adding a card. You can't chain Bottomless or Torrential to that because I didn't summon. That wasn't the last thing that happened. The last thing that happened was me adding a card from my graveyard to my hand. That is different from Chaos because his effect happens when he's summoned. And that's why you can torrential him. So I hope you understand that. Another thing to note, cutting his attack in half. It's permanent until he's removed from the field. So if you cut his attack for half, poke for 12, and remember, you can only do this during your main phase, and if your opponent has monsters on the field. So if you want to swing past their monsters, you poke for 12. His attack is stuck at 1200 until it's removed. So as soon as you activate his effect, he disappears, resetting his attack. Another thing people don't understand is that activating his effect to move himself from the field happens at the same time. And this can be found in the wording. Once per turn during your main phase, you can discard one card and remove. Cards that act as a cost say, do this, then this happens. Drill Warrior, on the other hand, says, this and this happens. So you're discarding a card and removing. So this goes to the grave, this remove. This is happening at the same time. It's all part of the same effect. So the reason that's important, if I go to activate Drill Warrior's effect and my opponent wishes to respond with Book of Moon, so I go Drill Warrior's effect, they say, okay, fine, chain book. He goes face down, dandy, debris, or whatever, stays in my hand because both things have to happen at the same time. Alright, so that's all about Drill Warrior for now. Not as sexy, but still a very sexy card. Turbo Warrior. Turbo Synchron plus one or more non-tuners, but again we're using Quickdraw. When this card attacks level 6 or higher Synchro, have that monster's attack to the end of the damage step. This card cannot be targeted by the effects of level 6 or lower monsters. Can you say Rape, Geyserist, Celestia, Sorcerer, Chaos, Raikou, Gravekeeper's Guard, Hane, Penguin Soldier, yada yada yada, rape. That makes him amazing. So that's a continuous effect. They can't chariot that. They try to Murmillo, and they forget Murmillo just killed themselves. And nope, you can't take that back. This card can't be targeted. It's not like negated. It cannot be targeted in the first place. So they nuke their own Murmillo. They can't Geyser stat. They're going to be forced to Book of Moon it. Or they're going to be forced to blow something else up on the field. And then try to find a way to get around it. Chaos's fail. Chaos Sorcerers fail. Celestia's fail unless they have Honest. Etc, etc, etc. And that's why I like this card. Some people choose not to run it. But when when I read Raikou face down the field, I'm like, swing. You know, I just got a +1. So that's why I like Turbo Warrior. Next Synchro, sexy, Nitro Warrior. Nitro Synchron, one or more tuner monsters. Once during each of your turns, if you activated a spell card, this card gains 1,000 attack during its next attack for damage calculation only. Once per turn, if this attacking card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can change one face-up defense position monster your opponent controls to attack position and attack it with this card. And drop that bad boy on the field. Play MST or play Pot of Avarice. He immediately jumps to 200 attack. If you're in a mirror match and for some reason your opponent has a fluff token and Sangan on the field, they probably just lost the game because you're swinging for 28 over their Sangan, and then you're switching that to attack mode and you're swinging directly with that for 38. 28 and 38 is 66 damage, and you probably did some damage before that, or they played Solemn earlier and you just got in there. So that's pretty sexy. That's why I like running him. Finally, Junk Archer. Oh wait, before I go, with Nitro Warrior, it's important to remember that you have to play this spell while it's on the field. There are a few cards that have the condition that if X happened during that turn, then this can happen. However, with Nitro Warrior, he's ruled that you have to activate and resolve a spell while he's face up. I'm trying to remember names of the cards that kind of correlate to what I'm talking about, but and they say that if something happened this turn, after genocide or after the struggle, it says if something, whatever happened this turn, then you can do this. But Nitro Warrior is not like that, even though he's worded that way. The spell has to be activated and resolved while he's face up on the field to get his 1,000 attack boost. So just remember that. Junk Archer, finally. Junk Synchron, again we're using Quickdraw Synchron. And one more non-tuners. Once per turn, you can select one monster your opponent controls, remove that monster from play during the end phase of this turn. It returns to your opponent's side of the field in the same battle position. Remember, it is returned, not special summon, so when it comes back, you can't bottomless or torrential or whatever. It's just simply returned. So they have the face down, saying it or whatever. You remove it, swing for 23, end of the turn, it comes back. Hopefully they don't have chaos, or hopefully you have protection, because they're going to tribute saying it for chaos. That's why I say that in a previous video that Junk Archer is kind of a tricky card. He's a skillful card. He's there for pressure, because if they can't deal with it, you're moving their little weenies out the way. You're moving their threats out the way. You know, they have Stardust. They have Stardust on the field, and your opponent dust shooted you earlier. They know you have Solemn Judgment. They know you have D-Prison. They know you have protection for your Junk Archer. And you're just putting constant pressure on you because you're moving their Stardust. You're swinging, or you can be really funny. You remove their Stardust, play that top decked Heavy Storm, and wreck that shit. So that's why that dude is really good. Alright, well, just went over some of the synchros for this deck. When we get Junk Destroyer, that's going to be awesome, because now we get a second boss monster. So in addition to the big booty bitch, and in addition to Light and Darkness Dragon, we'll have our boss synchro, Junk Destroyer. Hopefully when you bring him out, you played Cold Wave first. They don't have any Stardust, because Cold Wave will stop the Oppression, the Starlight Road, the My Body is a Shield, and so yeah, that's going to be really hot. Alright, hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for the next video. This is Dub K Dad here, showing you guys how to work this amazing deck. Again, congrats to Jeff Jones, shout out to Pete Navarro, and I'm out.